Hey guys, Element here. We've made it. The final episodes of Star Wars Rebels, and it's been a long time coming. From here, we learn what exactly transpires leading into the official start of the Star Wars calendar, the Battle of Yavin. Rebels has certainly seen its fair share of criticisms over the past years for its wanton for fillers and just overall reach for dramatic flair in a relatively narrow-spaced market within the confines of Disney XD. Nonetheless, the series has drawn in Star Wars regulars like myself and Clone Wars alumni. Regardless of the medium, Star Wars has the power to do this. With the release of Rogue One and seemingly a fabrication of new connective tissue to the overall universe, it felt apropos for Rebels to finally take its final stretch and finally bridge the seemingly unending gap between Episode 3 and Episode 4. A Fool's Hope coincidentally starts with the promise of hope as Hera is gathering the troops for what could eventually become the liberation of Lothal, and to my delight, Ezra and Sabine seem to be spending almost all their time together. I can't help but root for this couple, even if they forever remain just friends. It was also fun to see Morai emblazoned on Sabine's left pauldron. This is most likely a mark of what would become her destiny later on in the finale. This was a very action-packed episode, and I had a lot of fun watching, as some of the action set pieces made me think of classic Avengers ensemble action set pieces. And despite that comparison, this episode felt more Star Wars than any other episode we've gotten thus far. The Loth Wolves add some much-needed flavor to the already blaster-filled battleground, but my previous comment seems presumptuous as we enter the finale, family reunion, and farewell. As the Rebels succeed in taking over the Imperial base of operations using Governor Price, Thrawn proves to be a step ahead of them all, as he uses the very city beneath as a hostage. Ezra is forced to surrender, but it was pretty incredible to learn that even Ezra had planned for that. My interests are piqued and my force senses were tingling when Ezra had come face to face with Darth Sidious. Though I knew eventually Ezra would not fall for the temptation, considering we had just witnessed Ezra overcome the temptation to save Kanan, the Emperor's Praetorian Guard makes their appearance in what would seem to be a callback to The Last Jedi in a similar scene involving Rey. Soon after, however, Ezra overcomes their efforts and smashes them in with Force boulders, and so we come to witness Ezra's thrilling final act: Space Whales. With the appearance of the Purgles, I can't help but wonder if I've ever read about, witnessed, or seen any other Jedi with the amount of sensitivity he has for animals. So the fleet of Purgles rains down on the Star Destroyer fleet and just annihilate it, taking Thrawn and Ezra with them on an unknown journey through hyperspace. It seems at this point that Ezra might have sacrificed himself, but in a hologram he does say he can't wait to come home. And so the people of Lothal see their liberation and are greeted with a familiar set piece as a circular-shaped vessel explodes in lower orbit and signals victory over the Empire. It's a persistent motif in Star Wars to see victory in a single explosion of a massive orbital vessel. In that much, it echoed A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. And so Lothal never saw retaliation or retribution from the Empire, as we learn the timing of all this lines up with Rogue One and A New Hope, where the Empire seemingly has to deal with the entirety of the Rebel fleet, Lothal being a low priority. We meet up again with the Rebels crew after the Battle of Endor, as the Rebel fleet pays a visit to Lothal with Fulcrum in tow, and an older, snazzier Sabine to greet them. This brings me back to Sabine's destiny. As Ezra had hinted several times in the episode, he had counted on her. Sabine understood it to mean she should protect Lothal, and that she did, by staying. Zeb and Kallus have their bromance ending as he's seemingly welcomed into the Lasat family, and Hera makes a daring flight maneuver accompanied by Jacen Syndulla, a callback to the extended universe's own Jacen Solo. The finale makes its curtain call with Sabine waving farewell to what appears to be a mural she painted of the Ghost crew in the Mortis God's fashion. She joins Ahsoka in what would appear to be a long journey and search for Ezra Bridger. There's so much I could say about this series, but I do want to simply say thank you to everyone who worked on the Star Wars Rebels series. It really has evolved from a side quest to a main scenario quest. You've all crafted a series that would birth some of my favorite characters in all of the Star Wars universe in Sabine Wren and the continuing Ahsoka Tano. For in this finale, you've granted me 3 wishes. Ahsoka lives, Sabine lives, and Ezra lives, which carves a path to the future that includes these amazing characters. So where is Ezra? Well, my theory crafting has already begun to spin its web of far-reaching speculations, but I'll leave that for another video. For now, I'll say this. Ezra could very much have been brought to the unknown regions of space, with Ahsoka Tano and Sabine Wren in tow to find him. Not only that, by the time we get to the new trilogy, the unknown regions had been charted. The First Order was birthed in the unknown regions, which brings me to this. Ezra could very well be the other apprentice Snoke has trained, but I like to think he's just around to be reunited with Sabine and Ahsoka in a story of their own, because I thought he'd turn to the dark side, but he didn't. At least not in this finale, so I'd like to continue to think Ezra will live on a Jedi. So when episode 9 comes around the corner, we'll know exactly who Rey meets when a blue-haired Jedi emerges, accompanied by a Force-using, dual-saber-wielding Togruta and the most badass Mandalorian artist. Anyway, that'll do it for me and Star Wars Rebels. Let me know what you guys thought of the finale and some of your speculations on where Ezra, Sabine, and Ahsoka are today. And thank you guys for all the support and following me through this series. Until next time, may the Force be with you.